Guys, welcome to another amazing video. As you all know, this is Blizzard Stitches. If you're coming across the channel for the very first time, you're very much welcome. Do well to stick around while you go through what we're doing here. Please, if you love it, do well to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you share it with friends and loved ones. Let's not talk too much. Let's go. All right, as you all know, when you are a beginner, someone must have mentioned this, or somehow you must have seen this. This is a thread, right? This is a thread. This is a bobbin. Some people call it reeler, right? Whichever language you're good with. I call it a bobbin, right? And this is the bobbin case. This is the bobbin case. And I want to show you the bobbin housing, because you have the bobbin case, and the bobbin housing, right? Now look at this point here. Look at this point. It has a slide through. This is the bed. The whole of this point is called the bed. You must have seen this, okay? When you push it aside like so, push this. This is where you can access the bobbin housing from the top part of your machine, like from the bed of your machine. And then if we are taking it underneath, I want you to see this. I don't know how clean that is, but you can see my hand. This here is the bobbin housing. Okay. Now, why do you have to understand where the bobbin housing is? There is no way you can stitch any outfit when your bobbin and your bobbin casing is not perfectly fixed to the bobbin housing. You won't be able to stitch, right? Whatever happens all the way on the body of your machine happens successfully because something is right underneath. If you get it wrongly underneath, it's going to affect the outcome or the result from the top end of your machine. Let's go to the real deal now. Now I'm going to be taking you on how to fix your bobbin to your bobbin casing and how to fix it to your bobbin housing. Separate the three. Some people call it reeler, and I don't know what they call the other one, but then I call it the bobbin case, bobbin housing, and the bobbin itself. So now look at this. Get it from underneath, which I'm going to show you. Okay, now you see that this bobbin has a thread on it already, right? Now I'm going to show, because this is a beginner's tutorial, I want to show you everything from beginning to the end. Now, how did we get this thread moving from here to here? I have an empty bobbin here, or an empty reeler here with me. Follow me through the process of reeling this thread. All right, let's go. So now I'm going to be reeling this particular bobbin with using a black thread. The other one is a red thread, right? Now, this is the part where you can learn how to thread reel your bobbin, all right? Reel the bobbin or thread your bobbin. This is what we're going to be doing now. This is not how to thread a machine. This is how to reel your bobbin case or transfer your thread to your bobbin, right? Now, the first step is fix your thread at the appropriate spot. You could either fix it here or here, right? But I choose to keep it here. All right, let's go. If you have an industrial sewing machine, it's definitely going to come with all this component. And on our class offline, we've treated the different part of the machine with its name. All right, so now we want to show you how to do this. Now, this is the way my thread is. I make sure that it is moving anti-clockwise, not clockwise, right? And then I come here to my thread guide, which has two holes. You can decide to pass it through any one. See the way it is. Now I want to show you two techniques on how to achieve this. You can decide to thread your bobbin using this point here, right? And then it comes all the way from your thread guide, and then you pass it in here. Watch. There's a disc, like a plate here, a dig's guide for your thread. Then you pass it all the way out. There is another hole, a little knob here. This is the knob here. You from that point, and as you can see, it's coming very flexible. Now at this point, you don't have any other thing to do other than coming to this end here. They use their hand to wind their thread. If you do this, you're going to end up having a loose stitch. What you're going to do is, there is always a sharp edge in itself. You can either locate that sharp edge or thread on top. Rather, place your thread on top like so. See the way I'm secured this, and then I just pull it in too, and it's fine. Making sure that your thread is still fastened. Okay, I let go of mine but don't do that. Let me take again. Pull it underneath, bringing the thread to a clockwise section. I'm trying to hold it firm. Doesn't take that much of time. When you are done, watch the way my hand goes. Switch your bobbin, still holding on to your thread the other way. Look at it, both sides now. Okay, and then you click it up like this. Right, with that, you've been able to secure your thread, and then let's on the machine and see if it's going to thread. So this is the first method on how you can thread your bobbin. Follow with your thread up like so, like this, and then it comes all the way up, and you pass it through this loop, bring it all the way to where you have your thread reeler, right? And then you go ahead and thread. Now there is something I want you to take note of. When you are reeling using this method, your thread is going to be underneath, like facing underneath, not the other way around. Okay, but the second method is what you would now use the thread reeling upward like this. You know, see the way it is. This is when you are reeling with this second method that I'm about to show you, and this is going to be when you are reeling with the first one. Of course, your thread has to be down, like facing down like this. Okay, so let's check out the second method. Okay, so now the second method, your thread comes out from your thread guide like this. Okay, and this is actually optional. If you want to place it the way I'm doing right now, you can as well thread it and, you know, pass it from your thread holder like that, and then you go directly to where you are supposed to be reeling. But this is how I do mine. I put it here because I need a control for this thread, all right, and the consistency, so that it will be strong enough. The next thing is repeat the same process. Place finger to fasten it up, and then you can roll like 2 times or so, then bring it back all the way to your thread reeler. Okay, now as you can see, our thread is reeled to the bobbin, right? I didn't want to waste my thread. That's why I didn't reel full, because I'm not making use of black. I'm not working with any black material anytime soon, so I don't want to waste my thread. But you can see the process. I've completely shown you 2 different methods, or 2 different ways on how you can wind your bobbin or reel your bobbin, whichever one you're going to make use of. So this is how we achieved this, right? This is the one that we use as a sample, and this is the one that I had already reeled before the tutorial. Now what we're going to be doing next is I'm going to show you how to fix this. And most importantly, before I forget, when you are threading your bobbin, right, you want to make sure that your needle is not on your machine, like your needle is not on. Remove your needle, right? Remove it completely, and then make sure that your foot razor, like this is what controls your machine presser foot. Okay, This is what controls the fit of your machine. Make sure that this is up. Lift it up. Make sure that this is up. Lift it up the way you see it. Now I drop it and you can see that it is raised. Okay, so make sure that it's down when you want to take off your needle, and once you're done taking off your needle, you make sure that you bring it up. And this is how your machine is going to be when you are winding your bobbin or when you are threading your bobbin. Okay, you don't want to leave it like this. It will keep clapping, right, like poking effect, and it could easily spoil your needle, or make it bend, or just make it bad in general. So you have to pull your needle and also ensure to lift this up. When you're done reeling, you take it down again. That aside, so now let me show you how to put your bobbin in your bobbin casing, okay, before you can take it to your bobbin house. This is your bobbin casing. So now, looking at this bobbin casing for an industrial sewing machine, it has this wide space here. I don't like calling it a hole. Okay, and then it has this slide through. It has this slide through, and this is where your thread comes out from, and it connects all the way back to this point here, and this is what fits your needle, all the thread it needs from underneath the machine to the top part or the upper side of your machine. This is what fits your thread and your needle from underneath to the top part where it's visible. So now, how do you fix your bobbin to your bobbin casing? You simply make your thread to be in a clockwise form. You're going to have it and it looks like a P. It has to be like a P, as though you're writing a letter P, like so, right? Or a 9, whichever one you want to make use of. And then looking at this widest opening on your bobbin casing, you're going to place your bobbin like so, and then see the thread, move it all the way to where you have this sliding, that opening, right, that breakthrough opening. When you're done, you could either use your hand to press it down if it's fine by you, but I love giving it the flexibility, and sometimes I also use my hand to press it down like that so I can control it better. When you are done, you're going to hear it will give you like a click sign for you to know that, okay, it's properly fixed. Now this is what you should have. Okay, you see that your bobbin housing should be able to drop. The more you push your hands, it should drop. That is when you know if you are threading properly or not. Now let me show you the reverse way and what the difference is. Now if this is my bobbin and this is my bobbin opening, and this is how my threading is, you can see the difference. Now the other one was facing this side, this is facing this way now, and I come here, I place it, and then I'm trying to like move it all the way to the opening, which you are just seeing now. All right, I've passed it through that opening, and then now you see the way it's dropping. Okay, you should be able to hold it up like this and wait for you to see what does happen. All right, so this is what happens when you don't thread well. It will push your thread out of the bobbin casing, and then you would have a tacky stitch. So ensure once again that it's this way. Look at the widest hole, drop it in just like so. Continue with the flow till you get to the opening like so, and then you go ahead to click. When you are done with that, you're going to have something like this left. You're going to have something like this, right? Should have like a length of a thread that is like this. Okay, so now let's fix it to the bobbin housing. Now you see the way my hand is going to come underneath. Now when you are trying to fix your bobbin case, right, to your bobbin housing, this is what you do. You use your thumb and you lift this, right? See the way it is. You lift it, and then you use the remaining part of your fingers to hold it firm like this from this other end. See the way my hand is. See the way it is now. You can see. Okay, you can see, it's these two fingers that are at work now, the middle finger and my thumb. Now this is how you're going to go. You slide this, okay, you slide that open so that you can access you can see what you're doing from the topmost part of your machine when you're trying to put your bobbin case to your bobbin housing underneath. You have to slide this open so you can see whatever is going on down here. Now see the way my hand is positioned. I'm trying to locate this particular spot here. This is where my thread is going to come into. So now I'm going to bring it. Remember that there is a hole. There is a hole on your bobbin case, and also there is a hole on your bobbin itself. So that hole is what is going to enter here, right here. So let's go. Switch. Make sure you locate it still with your thumb, and then you leave it. Okay, so you can see my bobbin sitting so nice. Now it's captured, right? I've fixed it and you can see the way it is now. You see this? It's now properly fixed. All you have to do is push this back, and that is how you fix your bobbin case. Now I'm going to show you how to fix your thread, okay, how to thread your machine. So now let's make use of our thread. Of course, I want to use a color that is contrast enough. Now I'm going to pass my thread from the thread guide like so. Again, you should take note of how your thread is winding. Look at this. It's going this way, not this way, okay? When you are done, you take it up from your thread guide, push it through here. You have as many thread spool as you can on your industrial sewing machine. You can pass it through any hole like so. Now there are two methods that you can thread from here now. You can either decide to, push your thread inwards to this point before moving it onto your plate discs or your thread discs like so. Okay, all the way like so, and then you fasten it with your thumb or any of your finger and push it back in as well. Now this gives that strength, right? It strengthens your thread, and it gives you a perfect threading factor where you're not going to be having issues of thread breakage. Okay, your thread is not going to be breaking randomly, right? Because it is properly secured like so. Now that's the first one. The second one is you can either choose to, just hold on. From here now, and you go all the way from your thread discs like so, and then you click it in. This is still okay, but then what you should consider is it giving you the strength? Okay, so this method is still okay, right? But then you might be experiencing thread breakage because the strength on this thread is minimized, right? It won't be that fasten. So what I do is make sure that I come up with both threads being secured like so. When it comes all the way up from the hole, I poke it in, use my finger to secure it while it goes under the discs, fasten it up like so. Try to fasten it. When it clicks, you're going to hear that sound. Now you push it in again through the same spot like so. Trying to trim my thread, nothing much. Now come back to your hand wheel here and make sure that whatsoever you're doing, this spot here, right, this your take-up spool, right, should be up like this. Okay, this should be up before you pass your thread from this stitch. Okay, so you go all the way, push it in. Again, check your strength. Okay, check the strength of your thread. And then the next thing is, you look at the side here, you have almost exactly the same thing that you have here duplicated here. So you now push, you can hear that sound, the thread in like so, because it's securing your thread. All these are thread guides. Okay, and then there is another one here, do not miss it. Okay, you push and it goes in. The next thing you're going to do is to fix it on your needle, which I'm about to show you how to fix your needle, because I purposefully skipped this to show you how to fix a needle to your machine. Now, this is my machine. This is my machine needle, a size 14 universal sewing needle. And this is 14 by 90, what you usually make use of when you're sewing a lightweight fabric, right? A lightweight fabric. Now, if you look at this needle, right, there is a side that looks like a flat bed, which is the side that is facing me now. It has this narrow, you can see this narrow effect here. All right, so you can see the side that looks like a flat end, and you can put your finger through because it's all the way up like so. And then you can also see this side. This is the flat end, right? And then this, when you switch, you see it's heavy, right? It has like 2 breakage before the hole, and it's really bulky. So that side that is bulky is going to be facing the side of your machine. Okay, it's going to be tilting towards the bed where your handle and your stop stitch is. That side, right? This is where the bulky head of your needle, okay, the bulky head of your needle is going to be facing. I'm sorry if it's not really clear. I don't know what's happening. But then the flat end, okay, the flat end is going to be facing the side of your machine. So now, underneath your machine at this spot, there is a hole that guide your needle like so. I want my camera to settle so you can see. Now the bulky edge is facing the other way, this way. Now the flat end is facing this side, right? Okay, so once that is done, you want to go ahead and tighten. You can see this knot here. You want to go ahead and tighten it so that it can hold your needle firmly to your machine. Tighten this up. All right, so once it's firm, you can see that mine is completely tightened. And what we're going to do next is to complete our threading. Take the flat side of your thread like so, neatly cut out, and you locate your needle eye, okay, and pass it through like so. And if your machine has a needle holder, you can make use of that, but I can't find mine now. So now we've successfully passed out our thread upward. Okay, we want to bring it from underneath upwards now. So what do? We move to our hand wheel, which is here, right, controlling this point, these 2 points. Now this is the hand wheel. With your hand securing your thread like so, you move your hand wheel to yourself, towards yourself like so, and you slowly submerge your needle, right? And then when your needle comes back up, you're going to give it a little bit of a pull. Your thread now, you're going to give it a little bit of a pull as you're still turning the hand wheel towards yourself. Once you pull it up and your needle is on this length or this level, and then you can see another thread, the second thread coming from underneath, you just want to go ahead and use your hand to bring it out like so. Completely done. So you have 2 threads outside. Okay, so when you have this 2, you want to use your foot to either control your presser foot controller underneath, or you use the one on top. Then you pull your thread all the way backward like so, and you drop your presser foot down. You come here, this is your power on button, and this is your power off, right? This is your power on button, it's your power off. And looking at my, some people call this pedal, okay? this is what happened. This is how I love to teach people how to pedal their machine. Now if you see, it's okay to control both legs, but for industrial sewing machine, the speed does not give you the avenue to, you know, pedal with two legs. So what you're going to do is use one of your feet, make sure that it's at the center, right, like so, and you count 1 2 3, slowly down, 1 2 3, slowly down. Okay, and with that you are guaranteed a stitch. You're going to take it bit by bit. Okay, so now you would be fire rising if you are a beginner until you master how much energy or force you put on your leg while you are matching. Okay, so now when you press it hard, it gives that energy to your machine and it comes out very fast and vibrating. When you take it slowly, one at a time, it keeps it simple, right? Just push it to the front a little bit and then push it backward, to the front, to the back, to the back, to the front, back and front, back and front. All right, so I grab my piece of fabric, like I want to give it a stretch stitch. So what I'm going to do is I would use my knee foot controller to raise my presser foot up, and I'm going to bring it down. I lower it down. Understand that your both tension thread, your upper thread and your underneath thread, are pushed out towards the side. What you're going to do is press power on, and then this point here, this is what controls your stitch backward and forward. So if you want to double stitch or secure your stitch, this is where you press downward. This machine is an ML 8500 high speed lock stitch sewing machine, and this is what comes with it as your secure stitch button or knob or whatsoever. Now back to our sewing. All right, I'm going to secure my stitch like so, and then I'm going to start sewing. All right, and again, I'm going to my stitch. Move backward, and my stitch is locked. So let's see what we've got. So I was stitching with my stitch number 2. This is stitch number 2, and you can see the way it came out. So this is my lock stitch 2, number 2, a stretch stitch, and this is how it came out, and this is the back stitch. All right, this is the front stitch. You can see that they are the same, right? They are the same stitch. So now you can change your stitch number to anything. It goes all the way from 0 to 5, from 0 to 5. So whichever one you press it down to, that is to the length that you're going to get. Let me change to 3 for you to see the length. It's on 3 now. Again, I lock my stitch and then I continue stitching. All right, again I lock, and then yep, let's see what we've got. So from looking, you can see that stitch number 2 is really tiny compared to stitch number 3, and the line, the breakage is actually big, much compared to lock stitch 2. So the wideness of your stitch is going to be determined by the number that you choose to stitch with per time. This is bigger, as you can see, this is bigger than this. And then let's see what the back stitch has. You see that? Okay, it's the same. So your stitch has to be this way for you to know that you are stitching well, and it shouldn't poke. So here now, this did not poke. This is where I locked my stitch, and once you back stitch or you lock your stitch, this is what it's going to look like. All right, once you secure your stitch, this is what it is going to look like from the back and the front. Okay, now you can see that this stitch is as straight as it should be, maintaining the same half of an inch allowance. That is because when you are stitching on your machine, there is a ruler that should guide you when you're stitching for each stitch length and the width that you're making use of. Say for instance, I need 1/4 of an inch as my measurement. I'm going to place my fabric exactly on where I have 1/4, and that is what you saw here, not half rather. This was 1/4, and that is what I had all the way to the end of my fabric. Now if I want to give the width of a half, which is 1/2, I would simply move my fabric to the line that has 1/2. If I need 3/4, which is a 3/4, I'm going to move it to that. If I need it to give me a same allowance of 1 inch, I'm going to move my fabric to the line that has 1 registered on it, and there is no how I'm going to stitch maintaining the edge of my fabric on this number. Everything is going to be equal when I'm done stitching from the hem, from the top of my fabric to the hem of my fabric. So that is all we have for how to thread your machine, how to paddle your machine, and how to thread